Welcome back, everybody.
Good morning, everyone. How's everyone feeling today? Yay! Good.
Thank you so much for joining us today as well, offline and online people, audience, guests.
Welcome back after a very intense day yesterday. We're ready for the second day. My name is Charlotte. I'm a 22 participant of Kanthari, and I'm the co-founder of a project called Propolis. What about you?
My name is Anand, and I'm from Delhi, and I'm 2023 participant, and I'm running my project called Anurvana, where we are working with slum children through theater and art.
Very nice. Are we all ready for today? Everyone is awake. Yes, give us some vibe here. Thank you very much. Before starting the speech, we're going to have Paul, co-founder of Kanthari, going to come on stage to give us a little bit of insights about this very special place. Thank you, Paul.
Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. So there is a saying, I'm a fan of quotes, and I think you know. There's a lot of tiles around the campus, if you haven't noticed yet. There's a lot of quotes on them. One quote is, we all have two lives. And the second one starts when we realize we only have one. Now, I think looking at the news that we see on a daily basis, I think that we humans make a mistake because we live like we think there are two planets. But I think we have to realize that we only have one. I know that Elon Musk is trying to, inhabit Mars. I think that's kind of far shot. Let's first clean up the mess here. The biggest problem I feel at the moment is that most people seem to think that somebody else is responsible for cleaning up the mess. And I think that's where we all have to look inside and see, okay, who is responsible? Because we all are. We are all part of this beautiful ecosystem, and we are just a small part. We humans are just a small part of that bigger picture, and we, as long as we don't realize that, nothing much is going to change. So I'm happy and I'm hopeful because we are here in a room with a lot of people that stopped and said, hey, I can do something too. We call it change from within. We work at Kanthari with change makers from around the world. They come here with a vision. They have a very clear picture of what it is that they want to change and why they want to change that particular issue. Why? Because they've been affected themselves. They have been affected themselves. That's what gave them the strength and the power. And at some point they said, stop. Now something has to be done. Not by others, by me. Change from within. So people, the people that are here, one of the best points I feel is when they go back to their own communities, they already know the history of that community. They know the culture. They know the background. They know this, any context in a cultural sense. They know the language. They speak the local language. They already know the laws, right? Especially looking at the lawyers here. So they are familiar with all that. And, they have been part, or they are part of the target group that they want to help. That's very, very powerful. So hopefully we get more people in the future to join here, but we already have 23 in this special year. This year is special. Why? Because it's the 15th batch. So since 2009, we've trained 280 change makers from 55 countries around the world. They have started more than 190 organizations, reaching thousands of people that are positioned on the margins of society, and they improve their lives in one way or the other every single day. Now, yesterday, we had a glimpse of hope, of what's going to be happening in the next few months and years ahead of us, of the first 17 of the 23 that are here. And I recommend everyone who has missed it to just go again to kantharitalks.org, because the videos are still there. People can watch that. But today, I'm happy because we still have 6 more stories to go. And I'm very much looking forward to these stories because I've seen peaks of it already. I know what's coming. And I think it's a great inspiration opportunity again today. For all of you here, please, share the word that this organization is existing so it reaches other change makers that could benefit from this course. But as important, it shows to the world that there are people making a difference. Okay? Thank you for sharing. I wish you a wonderful day today. I wish all the participants, which soon will be graduates, hopefully in end of March, beginning of April, I wish you all the best. Lots of luck with the startup of your projects. Keep going. Don't lose the momentum, right? When you get home, hit the ground. Hit the ground running, get started. All right, everyone, have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you so much for your lovely words.
Thank you very much.
Can we have little bit music? Yes. Oh, instructions,
We
basically.
need some
That's
instructions
music,
from
right?
the Air Kanthari.
Ladies, gentlemen, and others, welcome to Air Kanthari, your journey into an inspiring space of change-making ideas and learning. Before we take off into this world of creativity and vision, please lend us your attention for a quick safety and behavior introduction. Please set your phones to airplane mode or silent mode to keep your focus on us. In this space, connectivity is encouraged, but only with the people and ideas around you. Kanthari is a strict non-smoking campus. Remember, we want your ideas to spark, not your cigarettes. Let's keep the air fresh, clean, and safe for everyone. For the respect of our speakers, please remain seated during all sessions. In the auditorium, there is one main exit on the right. There are no emergencies or turbulence here when you're grounded in purpose and passion. But if you feel overwhelmed by the brilliance around you, just pause, breathe, and rejoin when you're ready. The toilets are located on your left. Refreshments will be served during breaks, but don't worry, the quality is much better here than on planes. We're here to make this journey smooth, safe, and unforgettable. So now, fasten your mental seatbelts and let's take off into an unforgettable experience. Welcome again to Air Kanthari.
Thank you so much. Some more information about the event. So the structure is a bit like each participants are going to present their presentation for 10 minutes, then there will be a 10 minutes of Q&A. And each session we have this day like 3 presentation, and then we have a break for around 20 or 30 minutes. So it's kindly request when we are saying before next session, come at least 5 minutes before so we can start early. And as we have really good cameras and a cameraman here who is the founder also, he's taking really nice pictures. So it's requested to everybody, please don't take any pictures and all so they don't get disturbed. We will post these pictures online so you can take it from there, and try to keep your phone on silent mode or on airplane mode.
All right, I think enough has been said. Shall we start with our first session of the morning? And the theme is about breaking chains.
And I would like to start with our panel members. First is Smita.
Can we give big
Welcome.
applause to Smita? Thank you. Welcome, Smita.
Smita is an advocate and legal consultant with 15 years of experience in criminal and family law across Kerala's court. A court-style leader and empathetic negotiator, she is known for her problem-solving skills. Before her legal career, Smita was corporate trainer and has since worked as a resource person for the Kerala State Legal Services Authority. She has also worked closely with inmates in district prison, government-run rehabilitation center, and shelter homes, providing crucial legal support. Welcome, Smita.
Welcome.
We have next baby Prabhakaran. Prabhakaran is an MSW graduate from Loyola College, Trivandrum, and has 28 years of experience in community development, HR, and organizational growth. As the founder of and CEO of Blue Point organization, he has led impactful initiatives, including Pioneer School, social work programs, and promoting life skills among 25,000 youth. Collaborating with governments, corporates, and NGO, Baby drives projects with health, education, and child protection. His notable achievement includes the Cable Model for Vulnerable Children and magazine creative social campaign, making his organization a leader in high impact program across Kerala. Welcome.
Thank you for being here. And let's not forget our panel members, and I will start with K.R. Raja, a former psychiatric counselor at Palaya Maikotai Central Prison and practicing lawyer in the High Court, has dedicated his career to supporting children in prison and crime victims. As the founder of Global Network for Equality, India, he works to rebuild the life of these children by providing education, emotional support, and a safe environment to help them cope with the loss of parental care. Raja is a 2011 Kanthari, by the way. Welcome, Raja. Last but not least, Mr. Israel Balogun, a 2022 participant, best batch ever. The founder of Akin is dedicated to providing inclusive alternative learning spaces for homelessness youth in Nigeria. His personal experience of homelessness shaped his mission, leading him to establish the famous Akin now after his training at Kanthari. Through Akin, Israel empowers vulnerable young people by offering education, skills, and opportunities for a brighter future, embodying resilience, leadership, and a strong commitment to social change. Welcome, my friend.
Well, and now it's time.
I think it's time.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, Charlotte, what is common between Mumbai and Los Angeles?
Another question in the first one in the morning. Let me think. Coastal cities, Hollywood and Bollywood, superstar, amazing food. Am I right?
And what about poverty?
Yeah, okay. I heard Los Angeles has one of the highest homelessness population in the world.
And even in Mumbai, we have the biggest slum. And as I grew up in a slum, I know how the children are going through by poverty, violence, and crime.
Yeah, so actually our next speaker has started a social worker career and later become a lawyer and advocate for children's rights. Please, let's welcome
Mala Sonwadekar from India.
They opened the gate and asked me to rest. But I don't know why did they arrest. A placement safe becomes a cell. When they ask my story, I am too scared to tell. I am gazing and gazing at the wall as I think someone will come to call. I was beaten outside, I am locked inside. They ask me, what future do I decide? For this is the place that I reside. I have nothing but sorrows beside. I am staying here, it's been long. Is there anything that I did wrong? Why am I here, I ask? With my smile, my sorrows mask. I am looking for someone to care. Is there anyone out there?
Is there anybody out there? These are the questions that I heard from children in childcare institution in Mumbai. But what are childcare institution and what are these children doing there? Have you ever thought what happens to a child who's sexually abused, maybe by their own family members? Do you know what happens to a child who's trafficked? Imagine a child has run away from an employer in a state, say in Kerala. The child takes whichever train possible. And as a last destination, this child reaches to Mumbai. Here, the child meets a police officer. The police officer talks to the child and finds out this child has no place to go and it's not safe for the child to be here. So the police officer takes this child to the childcare institution for protection and rehabilitation. Just like this child, there are children who are victims of crime and circumstances mentioned under Juvenile Justice Act who are brought to childcare institutions for protection and rehabilitation. But what am I doing there? As a lawyer, I was supporting child welfare committees in Mumbai, helping them with passing such rehabilitation orders. One day, I got an opportunity to visit a childcare institution. It was 11 o'clock in the morning, and I knocked on a huge blue iron gate. An iron gate. I thought I was entering a prison. When I went inside, I was welcomed by curiosity in the eyes of young children aged 12 to 17 years. They took me to a room which was dark because the windows did not open to natural light but walls surrounding it. The children were sitting on the floor. There were 2 chairs, one for me, one for the probation officer. My job to explain the legal mumbo jumbo of Juvenile Justice Act to these children in a way that does not put them to sleep. But it was after this session that these children came and asked me a question. What did I do wrong to be here? I was shattered. A place that is meant for protection, if that makes a child feel guilty of being there, then what is rehabilitation? I asked myself, is this juvenile justice? What stood out to me is these childcare institutions focus so much on basic needs like food and shelter, and often the mental well-being, the emotional well-being of these children is ignored. A report published by UNICEF in the year 2020 points out that an inadequate care environment can impact the social and emotional development of a child who's residing in the childcare institution. What is this environment? Poor infrastructure, broken washrooms, lack of adequate drinking water, lack of natural light, poor ventilation, lack of necessary counseling services to these children, lack of empathy of the caretakers towards the children. All this impact the mental and emotional well-being of the children, which impacts the rehabilitation of the child. It was here that I decided that I have to start my own organization to address these gaps. One day, I came across a video of a cocoon. A cocoon is a protective layer that a silkworm forms around itself, and after a few days, it develops wings ready for them to fly out of the cocoon. It struck me what protection means if it is provided with nurture. If given with nurture, will it not develop wings to these children in the cocoon and the protection walls of these childcare institutions? Welcome to Cocoon Homes, where we envision these childcare institutions not only as a place of safety, but also a place of hope, happiness, and inspiration. Let me share with you how we bring to life this vision of ours, which is inspired by the magic of a playground. The first, a slide. Think of a laughter of a child, sliding down in fun. At Cocoon Homes, we want to create this environment of fun where children indulge in a lot of fun and recreation activities. But at the same time, we also provide legal awareness about the legal rights of the children under the Juvenile Justice Act. What could be overwhelming to a child can be turned into fun and empowering at the same time because the child needs to feel welcomed and protected. Second, a seesaw. Life in childcare institution can be an emotional seesaw. One moment up, the other moment down. Therefore, we introduce counseling to these children in a way that it feels natural and friendly for a child. We call this counselor as dost, which means friend in Hindi language. After all, If you have a friend besides you, the healing journey is easier. Third, it's a swing. Swinging is all about feeling free and supported at the same time. So we provide the caregivers in the institutions with trauma-informed care, which helps the caregivers to assist the child soar high above the past traumas, about the difficult circumstances, and the fear that the child has gone through. The caregivers can be the trusted allies of the children during this journey. Fourth, a playhouse. Imagine you enter into a room with clean water, clean washrooms, natural light, and beautiful, bright, cheerful colors and stories. We envision to bring these kind of changes in the current childcare institutions to make it more child-friendly. Fifth, a trampoline. Life outside childcare institution can be a trampoline for a child where the child has to jump high. But it can be a bit risky if the healing journey is not complete. Just like a trampoline needs a safety net, our children also need support. That's where our counselors and social workers come in place, where they provide the necessary support and the child fly high. Through all these interventions, Cocoon Homes now envision that a child do not come and ask questions, what did I do wrong to be here? But instead, narrate this following poem.
Little by little, warmth found a way. With their words, my fear ran away. Laughter and love became my song. It does not matter if the days are long. Through art, I found words I could not say. Through stories and play, I found my way. Here I learned I am more than my scars. I found my future in my arms. Now I am ready where I belong. This cocoon kept me safe and made me strong.
Can we make this poem a reality? Let's create cocoon everywhere in the world where each child feels safe. Thank you.
Good morning, Mala.
Good morning.
So you mentioned about children. What's the age group that you envision?
I envision with 12 to 17 years.
12 to 17 years.
Like after 18, the child has to leave out of the institution. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you plan to support children once they leave these cocoon homes?
So it would be again very need-based for children. It would be, again, the cases are different, and we would also see some family strengthening options. At this point, I think collaboration would be a great option where there are organizations supporting children outside the institutions in terms of family strengthening. If that's not available, then we would try to bridge that gap. At this point, our focus is so much on counseling, so that is something that we can provide at this point, where we can go at the doorstep of the children and provide counseling services if that is the need.
In your explanation, it was not clear whether cocoon homes are actually places where they stay, or is it a place they can come to for counseling and leave?
No, so Cocoon Homes is an external NGO that comes in the existing institution of the government, where these children come for temporary shelters and rehabilitation. So we actually come in the existing institutions.
Okay. My question here, or where you started your narration from, you mentioned about getting an order from the court and
Yes.
visiting these places. My concern here would be, how well do you think the judiciary is equipped to segregate, to send children to such homes, and what is the norms? Actually, most of these shelters are homes where I have visited. I have seen children from the age of 3
Yeah.
and women who are, for some reason, put up in the same shelter home for lack of space.
Mm-hmm.
And one place where I had visited, there were about 35 people
Mm-hmm.
and maybe about 4 or 5 rooms.
Yeah.
1 washroom, 1 toilet. So they are children of different age groups with women. And the target audience you said is 12 to 17. that's a group that is nearly adolescent to teenage.
Yes.
So that's again a very tricky group. While at the same time the children below 12, that is the age that you can mold.
True.
And they are put with victims of different, varying degree.
Yeah.
Even the act, as far as India is concerned, the act, which is the POXO Act,
Okay.
they're the victim from a touch to a deep sexual assault.
Yeah.
Anything can be happening.
Yeah.
So categorizing them, putting together them in one shelter home, that itself is something that the judiciary has not looked into. So
Yeah.
do you have any take on that?
In fact, in my experience, I have visited a shelter home where I saw the POXO victims were put in the same shelter home, but in a different room. They were actually confined than the others, which was even more disturbing. And it's sad that to see that these victims are targeted, stigmatized even in the institution, not only by the caregivers, but also by the other children. So I think there has to be an inclusion despite of the circumstances that any child has gone through. And that should not determine what a child feels or what the child deserves. So what you have seen in the shelter homes where there are women, where there are children of 3 years, if so far what I have visited, I go by that. Like I've seen the children from the age group of 0 to 6 are put in the adoption agencies. From 6 to 8, there are also certain liberty where children of 10 to 12 years are also there in adoption agencies. While this age group, it's quite difficult for them to manage with this age group. That's why the adolescent 12 to 17 are kept in one. So I think it's a different way of segregation depending on the availability of the institutions from state to state, from district to district. And it has its own intricacies. So we have to look into each institution's need, how to go about with it. I completely agree with you when you say that till 12 years is the age where you mold the children. But adolescent is also one age which needs a lot of support at that point. So yeah, either way, we'll have to work across all the ages. I decided it because the organizations that I visited has this age group, and that's the need that I have in my mind to start my work with, but eventually I can also expand and support the other age group.
Okay, thank you, Mala, for the wonderful presentation, actually.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you are going to work in India, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, if you look at the children you propose to work with, as per the Juvenile Justice Act, we have different category of children.
Yes.
Like we have the children in conflict with law.
Yeah.
We have the children in need of care
Okay.
and protection. We have, even under that, under CNCP, we have the survivors of child sexual abuse.
Yes.
And also, there are hundreds of institutions across India.
Yeah.
Anyway, you are going to work in Mumbai.
Yes.
Yeah.
At this point.
At this point,
Yeah,
okay.
to
Anyway,
start.
so that's good.
Yeah.
So when we look at the major components, you are going to work with the infrastructure part, improving the infrastructure and making it more child friendly and all. That's good.
That's
And
one
also
of the components.
that is one of the components. I'm coming to
Okay,
that.
yeah.
And second, you are going to work with providing psychosocial support
Yes.
and probably reintegrating.
Yes.
I don't know whether you propose to reintegrate them back to their homes. You propose to do that as well.
Again, it depends on the case.
And also, probably since they are, one thing I have noticed in many of the childcare institutions in South India, because I work with the institutions in Kerala specifically, but as part of that I was visiting some of the institutions in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu. So one thing which is missing over there is the transition
Yes.
from the
Aftercare.
probably after 17 and all the
Aftercare.
support systems are taken out.
True.
Okay. And they go back to the street again.
Right.
So how do we want it? There are 2-3 things. One, specify the target group. Whether it is going to be CCL, and ultimately it is the target group is the CNCP, the children in need of care and protection. If they are not provided with specific support, they will either end up as a CCL or a survivor of sexual abuse, or maybe landed up in other areas. They may lose their life as well. Okay, so probably to start with, we may have to specify the target group. Okay, That is one thing. And second, probably we may have to add some more elements, like the lot of advocacy and networking
Yes.
initiatives are needed. Like
Yes.
Ma'am was mentioning about the judiciary, and many of the states, they don't have that kind of a, even though the law, Juvenile Justice Act has provisions for that. So you may have to utilize the provisions of Juvenile Justice Act fully,
True.
you know, to
True.
make the system intact.
Yeah.
And definitely the transition should also be taken care.
Yeah.
So I would like to hear from you about your plans.
Okay. So my target group is CNCP, Child in Need of Care and Protection. I am not working with CCL. I am also the transition part that you said. While I was looking at the other NGOs, what are they doing? I have come across an organization which is working purely on the transition, and there are aftercares in Mumbai. So for me, I didn't see that was a gap there. That's why I did not plan to start anything at that point there. However, if that's the need, we would really try to put our feet into that also.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can even include life skills into this.
Yeah, again,
Yeah.
the same thing. There are organizations providing life skills, which I thought that is taken care of, and that's why that is not the intervention that I've planned. But if it's not there, I've also come across maybe an organization says that the children do not have employability skills to go out of the institution. That's something that we will also look into and bring in trainers or bring in collaborate with other NGOs and bring that as well.
Yeah, that would be better, but that should be incorporated under that, because
Yes.
you are going to directly support the children. Like,
Yes.
You are going to be the single point to coordinate everything. So that is what I'm trying to say. No?
Can we have online questions also?
I can't.
Sorry. Yes.
All right, thank you so much. I'm impressed with your program, and I think you have a great work going on there. But I was so excited when I heard you speaking about the beautiful community we are going to be creating for these participants. Until you said that you are going to be working with an existing institutions that happen to be under government. I have a challenge. How do you intend to, can you hear me please?
What's the
Yes, we
question?
can hear.
I couldn't hear that.
To bring the actual impact we are looking at into this program. The government will be the one that determines the policy, the mode of operations. They will determine what can be done, what cannot be done in their own institution.
Okay. Government. Okay. So yeah, existing institutions, government institutions are there, but recently I've also come across a judgment which has, the Honorable Delhi High Court has laid down a lot of guidelines for these institutions in terms of providing care, and it has also invited civil society. It encourages the government institutions to include civil society cooperation in achieving these guidelines or in implementing these guidelines. So that's where external NGOs do get an entry point in these institutions. So I've also worked in the past with an organization that has worked in the similar fashion in the current government institution. So that way it is possible to join hands with the existing institution. So far as policies are concerned, that is something that we will see. We'll have a dialogue, we'll have our own agreements, and we take it from there. Yeah.
Thank you, Mala. Thank you so much. As we all know, Kanthari talks are not just talks. And after each talk, we are going to show us a film of alumni where we are showing that, yeah, these are not just talk, they are really making impact. So here we have a film of Karthik 2012 alumni.
Srishti means creation. I want to create an inclusive, self-sustaining and eco-friendly village for the people with intellectual disabilities. But why? I spent more than 15 years in an orphanage. It's an inclusive orphanage. In my past 15 years experience, I realized people with disability, especially people with intellectual disabilities, they don't get enough opportunity in their life. And people think they just need care and support, but I think they just need an opportunity. If you provide the opportunity, you can see their life completely changing. This is what exactly at Sister Village we are doing. Here we are providing a life. At the Sister Village, the people with a disability and non-disabled, they can come, live, learn, work, generate income, and lead an independent and dignified life. You can see in my background, people are working, and they're working every day, and they're enjoying their work. And we are practicing organic farming, and there is a huge demand for the organic product, and the income helps them to lead their independent life. This is what Srishti wants to achieve. Srishti uses a combination of education, life skills training, and agriculture to support people who are faced with exclusion, neglect, and many other disadvantages that limit their effective participation in mainstream society. 27 graduates from Srishti got jobs in mainstream society and lead a valid and purposeful life. And we run a mobile therapy project in 88 villages. This includes physiotherapy, special education, parental counseling, and need-based services to children with disabilities. Currently, we are supporting 200 plus people with disabilities.
Congratulations, Kartik. Okay, for those who missed us yesterday, do you remember that Anand can sing? Do you want to hear him? Yeah? All right.
Why don't you ask me this question whether I want to sing or not?
Do you want to sing a song, Anand?
Well, now let's. The same song?
You choose.
Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Give me some sunshine.
Very nice. Come on. Well done. Just for those who missed out yesterday, talent, right? Now imagine for a second that you have no voice.
You mean being mute?
No, I mean like having a voice but not being heard because of your social background.
And exactly, our next speaker is dedicating her life for this purpose. So let's welcome Maria Aminat Opolo from Uganda.
The year was 2018 when I visited Bufulubi prison in Uganda's Mayuge district. As a young, enthusiastic lawyer, I believed that I could make a difference in the lives of these inmates, that I could offer hope to them that felt forgotten by the world, by their communities, and by their families. In my mind, I always assumed that detention facilities met the basic standards, that inmates had access to a clean room, an adequate meal, and one that was also nutritious. Or was I wrong? How could I be so far from the truth?
Also visited Nago Remand Center and Nago Reception that offers shelter to destitute children. These facilities' biggest challenge is the huge number of children under the 129 children taken off the streets and housed at Kampiringisa. But this is not an easy task for the authorities given the huge numbers.
Stresses the existing amenities like beddings and other kind of infrastructure.
This 17-year-old, whom we shall call Ismail, is living a lonely existence. His mother and siblings are dead. His father disowned him. Last year, Ismail was arrested and charged with aggravated defilement and aggravated murder. The victim was his sister. Out of the over 170 adolescents on remand, only 10 parents turn up on visiting day, which is every Friday. Adam is 16, and this is his 4th time in the remand home. He has been charged with aggravated robbery. He spent 6 months in Luzira Upper Prison before they realized that he was a minor. His time in Luzira, though, destroyed whatever innocence was left in him.
The video you have just seen shows a glimpse of the challenges that child offenders face while navigating the justice system in Uganda. Let me paint a picture of what I saw the day that I visited Bufulubi prison. Dimly lit rooms, cold cement floors, isolation rooms so dark that it felt suffocating. The inmates wore yellow tattered uniforms that exposed their malnourished bodies. They had open sores that were oozing blood and pus. Their skins were so scaly, it was an indicator that bathing was a luxury. When you looked at their beds, the mattresses, they were thin, they were worn out. I sometimes wondered if they even slept at night. In the far corner, there was a metallic bucket that they used as a toilet. Amidst all this misery, 2 boys stood out. Okello and Okot, just the age of 14 and 16 years. They told me that when they had been arrested, the police officers severely beat them, that their family did not even know that they had been arrested. They were put in prison cells that were congested with adults, and they were there for longer than 24 hours. Now, when the case finally went to court, they had no interpreter, they had no lawyer to defend them. Imagine being a child and listening to your own case, and people are using English, a language you have never heard. That's sad, right? But anyway, that is what is happening. So, according to the 2023 Uganda police report, it was stated that over 10,000 cases, child-related in nature, went to the police station. Of those, 1,008 went to court. Up to date, 70% of these cases are still pending in court. A 2021 UNICEF report states that over 261,000 children are in detention on any given day. So this is why I started my organization, Ikoku Protection and Justice. Ikoku is an Itesot word to mean child. It embodies our mission to protect and offer justice to children that are in conflict with our law. We are addressing a problem of inadequate, incomprehensive legal aid to child offenders, and this has resulted into congestion in the remand homes. It should be noted that there are 7 remand homes. A remand home is a place where the child is taken while the matter is still ongoing in court. And in my country, there's only one rehabilitation center, Kampiringisa Rehabilitation Center, which is a facility where the child will serve their sentence after the judge has decided that indeed this child is guilty of committing a crime. These places are all suffering from congestion and understaffing. So to address this critical problem, we have come up with 4 interventions. So our first intervention is creating awareness in the remand homes through our interactive board and card games. We want these children to be able to ask relevant questions to witnesses while in court because it's allowed under the law. We want them to also have a better understanding of the justice system, of their legal rights as well. Our second intervention is legal representation. We'll use the services of volunteer advocates that will be working in the family and children's court. We'll get these cases as referrals from the police, from the community, but also from the awareness sessions that we have been conducting at the start. Our third intervention is creating rehabilitating these child offenders through our psychosocial 2 weeks program that will be targeting child offenders between the ages of 12 to 17 years of age. So in this session, we will ensure that the children are further rehabilitated through our program where we will refer them to a shelter home. And once the matter is done in court, that is where they will go. And then we'll monitor them for a period of 3 months, upon which the case will be finally closed. Our fourth intervention is advocacy. As an organization, we believe in the power of storytelling. This will be through our podcast series, Justice Seed, and documentaries. We want these children to be looked at, not as monsters, not as criminals, but as children that need love, that need care, that need protection. At the end of our intervention, we envision a justice system where child offenders like Okello receive justice and are treated with dignity and with care and fairness at every stage. That when they're at the police station, the police officers do not quickly arrest them, that they use alternative interventions that are upholding their best interest. That when they go to the family and children's court, it's an environment where they can speak freely, they can speak without fear. That when they go to the centers, which are the rehabilitation centers and the remand homes, that it's a place where they receive an education, that it's a place where they get vocational and life skills. But most importantly, they get psychosocial support that is comprehensive. And when they finally get back to their communities and they're being embraced by their families, that they are reintegrated successfully through the fellowship, the follow-up sessions, through our reintegration program, and also as a way, we'll do this so that it's a way that we lower the crime rate. So let us reshape our justice system, not just for these child offenders, but for future communities, by ensuring that these child offenders receive justice and are treated with dignity and fairness at every stage. We break the cycle of reoffending, we lower the crime rate, and ensure safer neighborhoods for everyone. Thank you.
Can we have online question first? Online first, can we go? Can we start with Raja?
Raja?
Thank you, Maria. It was impressive presentation.
Thank you.
For me, what was missing from your presentation about your EcoKey project was that you are already focusing on the children conflict with the law by providing them awareness, advocacy, and legal representation, all that. But do you have any plan for the vulnerable children who became have a chance to become a children conflict with the law? What are the preventive measures? Do you have anything with the children of vulnerable?
So what is the question is, what are the preventative measures we are putting in place? Okay, the preventative measures. Okay, so as an organization, our ultimate goal is to prevent reoffending. So our preventative method would be that we come up with our interventions, ensure that these children do not go back into the communities and actually reoffend. So it will be a way that will ensure that the communities out there are protected and that there is no reoffending. So for us, we feel that that will be a way that will be preventing crime, any further crime, because the normal perception people have of child offenders is that, they're monsters, like I had said, and that they have committed offenses, and no one really wants to associate with them. So for us, what we want to do is that we ensure that they do not reoffend, so it will be a way that crime will not reoccur over and over and over and over again. So that is what we want to do. So that will be our preventative measure.
Okay, thank you.
Another online question, please. Can you hear us? Hello, hello. Yep.
Can you hear me, please?
Okay. Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Another, I won't take this as a question. I just want to suggest to you, please, that it's better what you are putting at the last stage to prevent occurrence of re-offender, or there's a term used for it now. It's better you use it to prevent from becoming first offender in the first place. So what I'm saying is, it's better you have an advocacy, an awareness that also help children, preventing them from becoming an offender, instead of you preventing them to become re-offender. So I think that was so go. Maybe you inculcate something of that nature into your program, because it's better they don't go to prison than they go and prevent them from going back again. That's what I want to suggest to you.
Okay, so thank you very much, Israel. So as an organization, we have an awareness intervention and also an advocacy. So as a way of preventing, in addition to what I had said, that we will create awareness in the remand homes, where we'll be using interactive board games, which will be using games like Trial by Trolley, by using Lawyer Up and the Game of Life. These games will be customized to suit the judicial justice system, so that then the children are able to learn but also have fun. Because we have realized that the generic way of creating awareness, whereby there's one person standing at the front and people are just listening, is not doing that job. So we want to customize these games so that the children have a better understanding of the legal process, but also have fun, so that it sticks in their minds for the longer period of time. Yes.
No more questions online. Can we get the offline questions, please?
Thank you, Maria, for developing this concept. Anyway,
Thank you.
Can you just tell us about the basic child rights and the sustainable development goals? The status of sustainable development goals in Uganda to position well this project among the probably to present well in front of the government.
Okay, so the sustainable development goals and
there are two things like one is about child rights.
Yes, the children rights.
Yeah,
yes.
so it's, I think Uganda has
Okay.
already
Yes.
ratified
Yes.
that.
Yes.
And second is the global. We have the SDGs in place.
Okay. So thank you. So in Uganda, we, as a nation, we ratified our laws to accommodate the ones that are out there, which is the rights on the child of the children's rights. Yes, the CRC. So it's an international protocol that is protecting children. So the children's rights that are out there for the children, especially the ones that are incarcerated, is they have a right to legal representation, they have a right to an interpreter, they have a right to get an education, but also get skilling as well. And that even when they're in the police station, that they should be treated in a very humane condition at all points. So those are the rights that they have access to. Whether it's happening is another situation, but it is what is stipulated in the laws, and it's also re-echoed in the constitution of our country. So for the sustainable goals, could you repeat the question again for the sustainable goals again? Yeah?
Different goals globally. So you may have to take out the specific status of your country.
Yes.
When it comes to each and every component of sustainable development goals, which are spelled out over there. So probably that is one area. First one was about the child rights. It's a written document when almost all the countries which they have signed or ratified.
Yes.
So these two will help you in probably position well your project to position well in the country. Yeah.
Okay, so you're asking me if I should. Is it a question? Was it a suggestion? I didn't get that. Was it a question?
Yeah, I was just trying to tell you about whether you have any clue about that.
Oh yes, I do. Yes, like I had mentioned earlier, that the laws that we have in our country, from the Constitution, it is in line with the international laws regarding child rights and child protection. So even as an organization, from our policies and even the way that we envision to implement our project, it will be in line with what is already stipulated there. Because at the end, we envision a world where, there is no reoffending, and that children are giving back to their community and that they are upright citizens of Uganda. Yes.
Maria, I would like to commend you for your thought process and your project. But I'm not very sure where you mentioned in your write-up that is, you do mention something about testifying without facing the accused. I guess you're talking about witnesses?
Testifying without facing?
Facing the accused.
Yes.
So that's about the witness program?
Yes. So when the child, the victim, is now on the stand and they are narrating the ordeal, ideally the child should be on camera so that then they do not have to relive that very grotesque experience that they went through. So that is why it's there, yes.
So actually, when do you plan to step in? From where does the cycle begin?
From
where does the project start?
Okay. Thank you.
I'm not sure of how it works in Uganda, but in case of an arrest, how can you collaborate with the police stations? And how can you collaborate with the juvenile courts?
Okay.
And is it only representation? Can you just elaborate?
Thank you. So as an organization, our intervention starts straight from the time the child is arrested. Our intervention is in twofold. We are looking at helping the child offender, but also those that are working within the juvenile justice system. So one of the examples is the police. So through our capacity building training program, we want these people that work within the justice system, like the police, the judicial officers, that they have a better understanding of what amounts to child-friendly justice, so that then they're not, even in their intervention and while they're helping, that they're not looking to just have the child punished and thrown in prison, that they're looking to help find out why did this child actually commit the offense, that we are looking forward to rehabilitation. So when we're going to the child offender, as an organization, we will be with them even while they're in court, because we are allowed to. There's some children that may not have anyone to be with them, and for those that have been to a police station, it's quite intimidating. So we will be there, like the ones to support them, to provide, to let them know that, okay, now that you're at the police station, to build their confidence while they're there, that this is what you do, you take the police statement. The police officer is not supposed to squeeze you in a little cell with adults. You're supposed to be there for just 24 hours and not longer than that. That even when they go to the court, that even then, we're still upholding child-friendly justice, that the judge is not taking years and years to handle the matter, that it's happening in real time, and we're not just adjourning cases just for the sake of it. So for us, the ultimate goal is that everyone has the knowledge and has the understanding of what child-friendly justice entails, right from the police station up to the time that they are reintegrated into the society. Yes.
Thank you, Maria. Okay, and now we're going to stay in Uganda and we'll go to the north, to Gulu, where people experience a brutal civil war. Also, Samuel was once victim of rebel attacks, and he turned his experience into a dream school. Let's watch it.
We should not undermine our friends. We should take them the way they are. I always love a school where we are mixed, because people with disabilities are also the same like us. So better, it is good if we study together at one school.
My name is Samuel Odwa. I was raised up in a polygamous family. My father had 2 wives, and each one produced 11 children, so we were 22 in the family. And my father was just a peasant farmer. So each one of us was struggling. I think I'm the only one who actually completed when education at a certain higher level. I am a parent of a child with disability as well. Having this child with disability, I faced quite a number of challenges in the community. I was mocked up by so many friends of mine, and they gave me actually some wrong advices. That Samuel, a child with disability, why don't you take it to stay with your grandmother, something like that. And even my wife was actually forced then to leave. My child, Raphael, who is deaf, he has now grown up. He's now a man, I could say now a grown-up man. He's 17 years old. I saw how my parents were struggling to raise up the children, but I said, no, for me, I want to be a different person. I want to raise up not only my children, but also other children. Yeah, also other children. That's why in the school, here, they call me Baba, which means father. I am the founder and director of Thumbs Up Uganda. Thumbs Up Uganda is an organization that works with parents and children with disability. We have realized that the biggest needs that parents do have was the needs to educate their children with disability. That is why we came up with a very inclusive school, and we said the Thumbs Up Academy, which is a very special school that addresses the needs of children with disability in the school together with other children without disability. Our major focus here is to help children learn how to associate with one another, socialize with one another, and also get educated together in the same setting. We decided in 2015 to start something small and started teaching, personally started teaching children, 7 children here in the school, and it was just like a sort of one room. And right now, as I talked last year, we have 182 children in the school, and out of 182 children, there were 68 with disability, the rest are without disability, all learning at the same pace.
My name is James. I study at Thumbs Up Academy. My class is P5 class. And I want to be doctor.
What do you like to do with your friends in the dorm?
Tell them some story. Yeah.
Who tells the funniest stories?
Sometimes me.
Charlotte,
Yes,
can I ask you a riddle?
for sure. Let's do it.
Okay, this is an animal.
Mm-hmm.
It is very small, and you can find it easily in Asia and in Africa also.
Anyone has an idea? Can you help me? A rat? A rat?
No?
Then? Something else? Squirrel?
No.
I don't know, that's too difficult.
Give it a try at least.
Anyone can help me? Should we ask our next speaker?
No, I want you to tell me.
I don't know.
Do brainstorming, something just.
I'm not sure. Does it look very small, cute, attentive?
Yes, it is cute, small.
It's me.
You are small.
I'm not that small. Okay, let's have our next speaker to tell us a little bit more. And let's welcome
Gloria Aking from Kenya.
Kenya.
Hey, ah, hey, ah, hey, ah, hey, ah, ah, hey, ah, hey. Oh, ah, hey, ah, hey, ah, hey, ah. Gloria, Gloria, Glory. Why are you ignoring me?
Pandey, what are you doing here? Working as a psychologist, during one of my visits in Kodiaga Men's Prison, I met my friend Pandey, looking at me through the metal bars of a jail cell. Pandey and I grew up in the same chaotic home environment with physical violence, poverty, and mental health-related issues. But right now, Pandey is in jail, and I am here. When we were younger, my parents were hard workers, but we hardly had up to 2 meals a day. So during the day, the teenagers would take us to the market. I was so tiny back then, and I could barely reach the stalls. So as the teenagers would stand up and pretend to ask for prizes, I'll go beneath the stall, then stretch my hand, then take an item, put it in my pocket, then quickly run away. But later on, I joined high school. And this was the perfect time away from my home environment. But sadly, during my 3rd year of school, my sisters and I were sent home because of lack of school fees. And during dinner, I heard my parents talking, and they said one of them has to remain behind. And sadly, it was me. At that point, I felt my dreams were shattered, and I knew it was the end of the road for me. I'd quietly sit behind our house and think to myself, what will I do with my life? Will I get a job? Will I get married? Or will I get into prostitution? Because sadly, that is the reality for most of my peers in the slum. Then one evening, we got a call from school. My teacher called my mother and asked her, why is Gloria not in school? And my mother explaining our home circumstances. I was later taken back to school and I finished my education. At that time, I went and learned psychology. I knew nothing about psychology. All I was told is that I was going to work with crazy and mad people. But hey, growing up in the slum, growing around mental health issues, dysfunction, was I not prepared for that? I later went to visit the Kisumu Children's Remand Facility, and I remember this building because once at a point, I passed by the building with my mother, and my mother pointed that building and told me, this is the place where delinquent children are taken to be given corporal punishment and turned into child soldiers. But this time, when I entered, I saw very high walls, cemented floors, a few trees for shade, boys and girls in different areas of the yard. Some were talking to each other, some were getting into minor fights, but some just staring into space. But when I talked to them, it felt like looking in the mirror. I saw my childhood self in them. And I quickly understood, these are not children being taken into this place to be turned into child soldiers. These are just children with a need to connect back to their community and a community with a bad perception of juvenile offenders. So I asked myself, what will I do to these children not to end up in adult prison like Pandey? How will I become a turning point to them like my teacher was for me? So children get into these institutions because of reasons like poverty, parental neglect, family dysfunction, and mental health-related issues. But due to overcrowding and underfunding, these facilities are not able to provide proper care, and hence, so many of them go back into the life of crime. And in Kenya right now, it's up to 60% rate of juvenile offenders every year. And have you ever thought to yourself that what happens to a youth from these institutions who does not find their place back into the community once released from these institutions? This is where Okiri was formed. At Okiri, our main aim is to reduce juvenile reoffending by giving these individuals the skills for independence, making sure that they're mentally well, connecting them back with their family, and changing the community's perspective of juvenile offenders. And by the way, Okiri means mongoose in my local language. And mongoose, they're smart, they're intelligent, they're adaptable, they're socially oriented, just like these children. And like the mongoose are explorers, we take these children into a journey of exploration. So what will a mongoose or an Okiri need in their backpack to become capable, confident, and contributing members of their society? We came up with 4 elements. Like the North Star, we help these individuals find their purpose in life. We have skills in digital, like the North Star, we help these individuals to find their purpose in life. We train them in visual and performing arts, and with this, we help them to adjust to the social environment. We also have the compass points, and with the compass points, we help them to pave the different areas in skill development. We have digital and financial literacy, we have cooking and baking, and we also attach them to different opportunities in different organizations. Our main aim is to nurture creativity, innovation, and the need for self-sustenance. And like the maps connect the different parts of the world, we connect them back with their families. We have activities in family bonding and skill exchange programs. And with this, we help them to create family and communication growth plans. And lastly, we have the horizon that symbolizes a fresh start. We release them or we transition them back into the community, back into independence, or we transition them back into safe environments. Do you remember the song from the beginning? Hey, hi, 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 hey, hi, 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 hi. Joturua beuinja burabiro weura duogedala. This song reminds me of my childhood, where after a long day of play and work, our parents and grandparents will call us home. This song is a symbol of love and hope. And at Okiri, we use it with changed lyrics as a call from the youth from these juvenile detention centers back into their communities to listen to them, to let them come back home before it's too late. I envision a transition home with more open spaces than the double walls of a juvenile detention center. A place that is more green and not cemented floors. I envision a place with tiny houses in which these individuals will live together and cooperate as siblings. At Okiri, Our mission is to transition these children and youths back into the community with a feeling of home and not a feeling of prison. Thank you.
Yeah, we can start with offline. Smita.
Hi, Gloria.
Hi.
So, will your mongoose be prepared to kill snakes?
Wow, not kill, but we live in, these are children that live in a society where they have to go against a lot of things, like their peers and the government.
Let me rephrase.
Yeah?
Let me rephrase.
Yeah, okay.
When you, it's just a hypothesis, when you provide them an open prison or something of that sort, are you cushioning them to such an extent that they will not be prepared for the real world? Will they be able to face the challenges because they're going back to the same society?
Okay.
Which created them in the first place?
Okay. My aim is to work with children and youths from detention centers who, even after rehabilitation, they're not able to find their place back into the society. And this is because our justice system, we have the process of rehabilitation and reintegration, but because of lack of funds, that process is not really keenly followed. So in the process, we have the making sure that their home situation is well enough for them to go back. But that is not really catered for right now. So in our center, as we rehabilitate our Okiris, we also work hand in hand with their parents. We want to understand what is the real reason why they did this crime, what is the real reason why they're in these facilities. So at the end of the day, within 6 months, when we are transitioning back into the community, they also go back to safe environments. So it's like not just focusing on this individual, but also looking at what is the real issue and trying to solve all the real issues before we transition them. And we also, we call this our Kiri village, and we want a structure that is not even close to being a prison. So when they come into the facility, they feel they're at home. Yeah.
Online, please, online questions. Anyone
Thank you, Gloria, for the great presentation. I'm not clear about how many people that you want to take in your project in each stages of intervention. Because the population is very huge, as you mentioned with some statistics. So how many people that you want to take in at the first stage?
Okay. So in our first stage, we are working with the Kisumu Children's Remand Facility in our session with visual and performing arts. So at that point, we need to work to actually understand what is the real reason. So with this population of children, we need to understand who is actually having trouble transitioning. So we may not be able to work with all the children in that facility because some may still be taken into Boston Institution for further rehabilitation. And when we start working outside the facility, our main aim is to start working with 5 children. Because at the end of the day, we also need to understand who are we working with and also what is the risk that we also anticipate. Because it's a new project, and I'm also proud to say that in Kenya, there's no halfway home. So this will be the first halfway home in the country.
Do you have a dedicated team for working with you?
Pardon?
Do you have a dedicated team?
Okay. Right now, I'm looking at working with 4 people because we are still working inside the facility. And gradually, as we transition out, we will add more team members also, focusing on the need of the children. If we need more psychologists, more social workers, more trainers, and then at that point, we will have trainers according to the number that we have and also according to the need that we will have at that point. But currently, I am the main psychologist. We have a social worker, the co-founder, and an accountant.
Another question online?
Yes. Thank you so much. First question I want to ask you.
Yes.
Do you design this home I'm looking at your back?
Yes.
That's great. It's wonderful. Okay. What's the age group of people you are working with?
The age group of people who will finally transition to this home is 15 to 18 years.
15 to 18?
Yeah, 15
Now,
to 18.
the age group of people I'm very, very much familiar with.
Yeah.
And one thing is very, very important. Sustainability of your program.
Yeah.
In terms of funding. What are your plans to sustain this organization for the next 5 years?
Okay. So my first plan is to work with the government and also work with other NGOs that we have the values that align. And with that, we might work in the same facility with them or outside the facility, especially when I'm speaking about NGOs and supporters. And our other plan is, if you look at our curriculum, we have the part of cooking and baking, and we are teaching them to actually use the skill outside. So why can they start from inside the facility? And that will be a way in which we can still get provisions that we use in the facility. And still, we're also looking at funding and grants also to keep the institution going, and also in a few years support more children and youth who are more in need of this institution.
Well, sorry to say this. One more thing, just an advice for you. The age group of people you are working with, you will find out that your budget, 65 to 70% of your budget will go to feeding. Think of how you also will grow your food for you to be able to cut down your costs. Thank you so much, and this is a very beautiful project so far.
Thank you, Israel.
And just to answer,
yes, please.
And just to answer Israel, when we are also thinking about running this center, we are also thinking of involving the parents actively. So when it comes to also other provisions, and then that is when we tell the parents to also give a part of something that will support the children. Because if you give something that is yours and you're seeing the growth, even the parents will appreciate the milestone. So they just become not just also coming to sessions for bonding sessions, but having the need to contribute into the project will make it more effective even after the youths transition back home. So that is also our plan.
Thank you. One more question offline?
Thank you, Gloria, for presenting this concept, using all the creative, different options which are available. Anyway, the thing is actually the children are, the adolescent, they are retained by the judicial system. Okay, whether the government is open to hand over the children to you at this point, is there any provision in your country, in Kenya, for that?
Okay, currently I have an existing partnership with the Kisumu County, and we have been working in that facility for 2 years, and another project, not this one. And with that, they were able to help us work in the facility, interact with the children. And we also understand the struggle that we share with them every 3 months. And with this, we are able to table in something else, because it's a new project, and they also understand the fact that the place is overpopulated and they have nothing to do. They have tried all the process of rehabilitation, but it still happens. So we're just going in with a better plan than what was already there, but we also rely on the existing partnership for them to be able to hand over the children to us.
Well done, Gloria. Thank you very much. That's the end of the first session. We'll have a juice break downstairs, and please come back by 12:30 for the second and last part of the day. Thank you. Okay, welcome back, everyone. How's everyone feeling after the break? Good? Yeah, a bit more enthusiasm, please. Yay! Woo! Very good. Thank you very much. Welcome back to the last session of the Kanthari Talks 2024, guys. And we're going to talk about bridging communities.
And we like to invite our panel members, Dr. Binoy Jacob. Welcome.
Welcome.
Dr. Jacob is the director of the Loyola Institute and Peace International Relations in Kochi, and the managing editor of Pax Lumina and Ediku magazine.
Apologize for the names.
Sorry. Dr. Jacob is also the coordinator of the Higher Education Commission of Kerala, JESUT, and the Peace and Reconciliation Network and Justice JESUT Conference of South Asia. He also published extensively and serves as a visiting faculty and institute in India and abroad. In 2024, he received visiting fellowship from Boston College, USA. Welcome, Dr. Jacob.
Welcome, sir.
Next is Vincent. Vincent is a passionate, outspoken individual with a lifelong fascination for movement and drama. While studying at drama school in Hong Kong, he experienced his political awakening, leading students' protest against national education reform in 2012. Vincent joined major movements like the Umbrella Revolution in 2014 and anti-extradition law amendment bill protest in 2019. After relocating to the UK, he founded Propolis, where he continues to use storytelling, movement, and dance as powerful tools for social change. Welcome, Vincent. And we have Dr. Gopkumaran Nair. He's an historian and professor at Government Art College, Trivandrum. He has authored several books on history, including one on Mahatma Gandhi. Dr. Nair serves as the general editor of a multi-volume work, Historical Sources in Kerala by DC Books, which comprises both conventional and non-conventional historical sources. He has also contributed to the freedom movement in Kerala, an encyclopedia published by the Indian Council for Historical Research. Welcome, Dr. Nair.
Welcome, sir. And let's not forget our online panelists, and I will start with David Nemo, a devoted lawyer specializing in peace and conflict resolution. Guided by a deep passion for fostering harmony, he has established himself as a trusted leader in community and regional conflict management. His expertise and dedication to peace building have earned his numerous nominations to mediate and resolve complex disputes. Currently, David serves as the project coordinator at Fair Share in Ghana, an organization that we all know very well here, where he combines his legal expertise with a commitment to driving impactful initiative. Fair Share was founded by Frank, who's with us today, a 2021 Kanthari. And last but not least, we have Tamar Afedu Anand, a passionate advocate for sustainable agriculture and climate action. As the founder of Fem Farm Life, Tamar works to empower smallholder farmers, particularly women and youth, by providing capacity training, market linkages, and innovative solutions across agriculture value chains. She's also the Chief Program Officer at Green Leads, where she leads impactful initiatives in climate education and leadership, including the African Climate Leaders Fellowship and the weekly Climate Chronicle blog. Tamar's work reflects her commitment to building resilient community and addressing climate changes through education, innovation, and collaboration. Warm welcome to you, Tamar.
Charlotte,
Yes.
did you see the news today?
I try not to read the news. It depresses me so much.
Yes, exactly. It's totally demotivating.
It is.
And our next speaker has a lot. He has gone through a lot. But he's doing something great.
Yes.
So let's welcome
Eric
Eric
Mwange
Mwange from
DRC.
DRC.
Papa! Papa! How can they do this, Papa? Eric, please, calm down. But Papa, we have to do something. Gather neighbors, go there and kill them. Stop, Eric. Please. We don't take the revenge. We are humans. But Papa, why? Why? Why did they do this? Eric, because they have lost themselves. They have lost Ubuntu. What is that? What is that again? Ubuntu, what is that? Ubuntu is an African way of life. Ubuntu is a belief of everyone should be together. You exist. You are because I am because you are. It's embodied. Coming together, being together. The respect for human being, the respect for compassion, the respect for life. Ubuntu is an African philosophy of togetherness, solidarity, peace, love, collectivism. One day, an anthropologist visited an African village. And when he arrived in that village, he found a group of children playing in a playground. And he had a package of sweets, and he brought this sweet to the children, and he gathered them, and they followed him. And he told to the children, now, I have this package of sweets, and I will put it under a tree. And the one who will go faster will get it, and it will be for him. You know what the children did? They didn't run. They just formed a group together, walked slowly, under that tree. They grabbed the package of sweets, then they came with it and distributed among themselves. And each of them got at least a piece of sweets. And the anthropologists came and asked the children, why did you do that? Why have you thought that way? And together, a voice came and they said, Ubuntu. So, Ubuntu, where is it today? It vanished, disappeared. It's no longer there. Who took it? Back, we can say, occupation is one of the reasons, slavery is another reason, and colonialism, the most. And with colonialism, they came with religion. And all this religion took away Ubuntu. And the African society remained without They are tools to address the community dynamic, the social problems. And as a consequence, our conflict, our small problems locally has to be addressed in Europe, in Asia, in big city in the world. By whom? By the people we don't know even. And as a consequence, conflicts are increasing on a daily basis. And since there is no anything to address them, they are escalating to the extent that people start to kill one another. Neighbors kill one another. I will take you back to Congo because it's a lot of conflict in Africa. And if I start to talk about them now, we will maybe stay here again, one full year or 7 months more. But what happened in Congo is terrible, specifically in my own village. On the 6th September, my own brother Abbas, his wife and 6 kids were slaughtered like animals in a butchery. Not only him, but 7 other people in the neighborhood. And this kind of violence extended far away, from village to village, from city to city. Now it's almost in the whole region. And what is the consequences? 60 million people perished in that war. 7 million people are scattered in internally displaced camps. 1 million people are refugees in other countries, including myself. And we said, should we go? Should we just sit this way? The idea came, and we reflected on some people who said, you should do something for your community. Some of them said, just go and do the same. Others said, we should maybe be passive. And others said, non-violence would be the solution. And the idea that my father talked about it and saying the solution might be Ubuntu came in my mind. Then 10 other people and myself came together and thought we would have done something. But before that, what would be the cause of this war? On one side, we have a group, an ethnic group called Tutsi of Congo. They were claiming their identity, their citizenship. And on the other side, we had the Bantu, thinking that the other side were threatening their land rights. So this collision developed a kind of like hatred, speeches between them. And on a daily basis, these speeches escalated to the extent that they started killing one another, as you saw. Not only that, the resources of the country, Congo being one of the biggest, richest country in the world in terms of gold, cobalt, coltan, uranium, to name few, fauna, flora, forests, everything. But it remains one of the 10 poorest countries in the world, according to the UN report. Then, should we be staying on problems, claiming problems? Should we be there mourning Abbas, the wife and other who passed away, or neighbors? Then we came out with the idea of SEDECO. This organization stands for an arena for peace and social transformation. We made it, myself and 10 other people from other ethnic groups. We said, let us follow another way, a way of non-violence. With 4 approaches. 1, we created a place that we call Center for Humanity, where people can come, sit down, children, women, elderly people, people with disability, come and talk about their problems. 2, we have created an approach called community dialogues. When we go out in the communities, using the narrative theater, people talking about their problems, base the stories, and transform them into strength-based ones. And the third one is the Festival for Humanity. This Festival for Humanity is for us a way to celebrate our success, the one that we are achieving with friends. And now, we said we have done all of this, but still, conflict is there. We haven't done anything yet. So the idea to expand what you have done with 8,000 people who are already in our movement, we said we should maybe multiply peace-building activists by building a peace academy in the epicenter of conflict to transform it into an epicenter of peace. So the source of conflict should be the role model where we can start preaching, let me say this word, preaching peace that we can extend to the world, that we can build to the world. Of course, one of the tools that was not being used, the Ubuntu itself, philosophy, should be explored. The African way of being in peace for over years should be explored. So that is why we are building this center. And not only that, seeing what is going on in the world, we thought it's urgent to do this. This morning, I Googled conflict and wars in the world. Do you know what I have found terrible? Let me walk you what I've seen. War in Mexico, Guatemala, Venezuela, Haiti, Nigeria, Niger, Cameroon, Congo, Sudan, South Sudan, Somalia, Ethiopia, Yemen, Gaza, Ukraine, Afghanistan, Palestine. Where again? Myanmar. War everywhere. War everywhere. Do we need war? We need a word of compassion. We need a word of humanism full of Ubuntu. If war is an answer, we are asking the wrong question. I am because you are. Thank you.
We can have offline questions first.
Hearty congratulations, Eric, for this brilliant project. I appreciate it. You have very beautifully portrayed the violent context, and your project, Zydeco, I believe, is a very timely response to it, to retrieve the African philosophy. My question, I understand, who are the members of this Zydeco, your organization? How do you select them? Is there any norm for that? And the second question, why have you chosen theater as a narrative to transform conflicts?
Yeah. Members, as we said, the founders are people from the conflicting ethnic groups. And we had that we call a snowball approach, where each of us has to put further, to mobilize its community, its tribe, to adhere to our movement. So we have members from all conflicting groups. And when it comes to narrative theater, why that choice? It's a good question. Because African way of living is made through storytelling. So that it's an ancestral way to convey knowledge, to convey message. It's done through storytelling. Yeah.
Hi, Eric. Thank you for your presentation. Very powerful. I would like to ask, as I understand, you're trying to scale up what you're currently doing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you address issues of possible mistrust or even infiltration, let's say, between the different groups as you scale up to a further scale? Because you're touching on something quite quite sensitive over here, of course, and these conflicts, they happen because of different parties or different clashes in value. For those who don't believe in peace, who really believe in revenge or war, or believe in conflict, how can you protect those who are like you and who are really fighting for your cause?
Yeah, it's a very good question. One of the things we do to address the conflict that might occur during the forums is the theater itself. First of all, we leave people to offload their emotions in this narrative theater methodology. So people come with a lot of emotions during the forums, so they offload them, and we leave them do it. Of course, with a mechanism to protect not like violence occurring, but expressing the feelings, they come and they do it. They offload themselves. This is one way. Because the narrative theater itself, it's a concept that came from the theory of the oppressed, where people are given a space where they offload, they put out their emotions. But when these emotions are put out, we feel that the oxygen starts receiving the information, and they start to reflect on something positive. That is one way. And of course, for those people who might face the problem, like myself, what we try to do is to have international mechanism of human rights protectors that can also get involved, and that can help us to escape when it comes to danger. And the other approach is to teach people how to mitigate conflict in the community. We have different ways to mitigate, to reduce the conflict and collision with those who are not like us, as you said. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Theater and storytelling are educative process, tool of education. And I read about the Ubuntu years back. I'm delighted that I could encounter a man from experiential realm. So my question is, the ability to forgive is the greatest ability human civilization acquired till date. So it reminds me of Mahatma Gandhi's, our father of nation, and we have a lot of conflicts in our country. So my question is, present education system that you, for following an informal education, promotes only across the world competition, aggression, and violence in different dimensions. My question is, in cognitive science, there is a term, please pardon me to use such terms, non-conscious, not subconscious or unconscious, but non-conscious. Because you allow the people to go through a certain process, certain activities, and unknowingly, without conscious, they acquire certain abilities and values. So my request, rather, I would like to know whether you intend to build up a curriculum so that, based on your experiences, you have a lot of activities, to build up a curriculum so that it will help the education system to promote certain values, the values of coexistence, forgiveness, peace, and so many other eternal human values. So, you're following certain informal ways of doing it, whether you are planning to, based on your experience, to build up a curriculum so that it will can be used for much larger, reach out to much larger mass across the countries, across the world.
Thank you so much.
Okay. We can go online.
Tamar has one question. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, hello, good morning from this side.
Hello.
So, Eric, I want to find out what's your plan? What measures do you have in place to ensure that communities you're working with do not turn to cycles of violence after the healing process?
Yeah, we normally, when we go to community, if I can respond it through an example, we normally gather people together, 500 or 700. Whenever they come together, we go through this way of doing things, telling this story-based, problem-based stories that we shift into strength-based stories. And after that one, we ask the community if they feel they are ready to establish a peace committee. If they say yes, then we allow them to do it. And if you say not, we are not yet there, we don't push them. We are patient and we wait until they invite us back again. Does it make sense?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
The next film is from 2012 alumni who has started the first organic farming cooperative in Nigeria. And now he's even producing a chocolate. But what is most important news about him is that he's able to motivate thousands of young Nigerians to return to their villages and start agricultural and environmentally friendly way. Let's have a look of Lawrence.
They like being filmed, I guess.
Yeah. The life here is different from what we have in Akure town. So for me, it's my dream to move to this place permanently next year. I want to be closer to these people, I want to be closer to this place. And then I want to decongest the cities. Life here is better. We can create a lot of opportunities here.
How are you?
Welcome to Nigeria. To meet our people. How was your journey? Welcome to Springboard Farms, and then here this is a boundary. We have over 30 hectares of farmland here for our farmers. In Nigeria, a lot of people are becoming sick. If you get to the hospital, you see people are being rushed in as a result of food poisoning. It's been discovered that this is caused by the chemicals that we use on the farmland, and Springboard wants to change this, and that's why we practice full and total organic farming. Because we want Nigerians to be healthy, we want our environment to be healthy, we want the soil to be healthy. Springboard is the largest organic producers in Nigeria. Nigeria has less than 2,000 organic farmers, and we have millions of farmers in the country. So the challenge is that a lot of people are not aware of organic food. But in the big cities like Lagos and Abuja, rich ones are beginning to get conscious of the kind of food that they eat. So for people in Akure, they are not aware. So Springboard is creating a huge awareness campaign, and we're also trying to create markets in Lagos and Abuja, because the rich ones actually import organic food from Europe to Nigeria to eat. So we can produce that in Nigeria, and that's what Springboard is doing. Millions of young Nigerians are unemployed, and we have more than 50 million hectares of farmland that are not being used currently. In the last 6-7 years, We have trained over 1,000 young people. We train them and put them into network, into cooperatives to start their farms. We put them into groups of 5, and then we give them farmland, we give them tools, we give them seeds, we give them everything that they need to start their own farm.
I didn't believe I'm going to get the land for free. Then I have to come and see for myself if that is true. So we are on 4 currently doing the farming now. The 80% goes into us, then we share it among us, and the 20% goes into Springboard. And from there, it's bringing money to our table. It serves as a source of income for us.
I see myself as a corporate farmer, not just a farmer on a small scale. I see myself being a large scale farmer because agriculture is more to me like a revolution.
At Springboard, we have trained 3,408 small-scale farmers in 33 communities in Nigeria. About 1,000 of these farmers have become members of our farmers cooperative, and we also work with about 508 rural women that we empower to run village enterprises. And our farmers' main crops are cacao, which we call cocoa in Nigeria, and plantain. In total, our work currently benefits over 20,000 rural people.
Congratulations. Ananda, I do have a question for you. My turn. When you grew up, were your parents hitting you?
Yeah, of course, so many times.
Okay, and now?
Not now, but yeah, that time there were so many. Maybe, I remember one incident like I was around 5 maybe, and I was not wearing underwear, so my father hit me.
Okay,
I remember.
well, our next speaker is an expert in talking about violence against children. So maybe let's hear her, no?
Yes.
Let's welcome.
So let's welcome
Gabriela Zambrana from
Bolivia.
Thank you, Bolivia.
¿Y a vos? ¿Cómo te fue en el colegio?
Decirle pues, ¿qué te dijo el profesor?
Tienen que ir mañana al colegio.
Ah, ¿te dio la que hiciste? A ver, vos decime, ¿qué hizo tu hija?
Me dijeron que no ha presentado tarea y se duerme en las clases.
Pero cagaste. ¿Vos por qué te dormís en la clase? Y vos no podés ni siquiera ayudarle a hacer tarea y ni cocinar, ¿sabéis?
Pero vos sos el padre también y tenés derecho a corregirla.
¿Sabes qué? A ver si con colepeji te vas a dormir vos en la clase. A ver, déjame, soltame.
In the video, did you notice the cola de peji being used on the child? In Santa Cruz, Bolivia, this is a traditional whip. It was originally crafted for guiding animals like horse and bulls. It has become a decorative item in many houses in Santa Cruz, Bolivia. And now, this is used as a whip on children to discipline them. In Bolivia, in 2023, every day, 38 cases of violence against children were reported from homes, schools, and community. More than 77% of children experience violence before reaching the age of 18. Physical abuse like beating with colepeji, belts, and slippers is the most common punishment for children in Bolivia. When children experience violence, their mental and emotional health is deeply affected. They can develop depression, anxiety, or low self-esteem, and find it hard to trust others and feel safe. Tragically, victims often repeat this behavior as adults, perpetuating the cycle of violence across generations. Why is this happening in Bolivia? Traditional belief in Bolivia normalized the corporal punishment as a discipline. Children are expected to obey without question, and disobedience can result in slap or beatings. Schools also use corporal punishment like caning to discipline children, discouraging many children from attending school. Many families in Bolivia live in extreme poverty with overcrowded unemployment and limited access to essential services like health, education, and social protection. Single parents have to work long hours to provide to their families. Parents often lack access to education or information about child development or non-violent parenting practice. Many continue the disciplinary system that they experienced as children, perpetuating the cycle of violence across generations. Even with this all going around, I was the lucky one who grew up in a loving environment. However, my work for over 20 years in different NGOs exposed me to many problems faced by children, like child labor, children in conflict with the law, and child abandonment. One of these children was Manuel, a 7-year-old boy who lived in a single room with his mother and 2 siblings. Manuel every day arrived late to school, wearing tattered clothes and covered with bruises. His mother believed that the corporal punishment is necessary to correct his behavior. This abuse left him silent and unable to concentrate in classes. His teacher, noticing his lack of focus, punished him, adding to his struggles. That is why I decided to start my organization, Enlace, an NGO focused on preventing violence against children. Our aim is to help families address violence, improve communication, and strengthen bonds with interactive activities that unite children with parents. You might be wondering why I decided to work with families to prevent violence against children. The reason is because the family is the most important environment that molds individuals. If the children are surrounded by violence, there is a high probability they grow up to be violent individuals. Our program is structured like an orchestra. Each instrument in orchestra plays a unique role, yet they all work together to create harmony. Similarly, family members bring their needs, strength, personalities, and responsibility to create balance. Let me tell you a little bit more about our program. The first step in an orchestra is to choose the song. Our first step for family is to identify objectives. Through storytelling, parents can share their dreams and their values, and children can express their vision for the future. Second, like tuning instrument before playing, family assess their current situation, identifying needs, emotion, strength, and areas for development, using emotional map and active listening. Third, family members have the opportunity to perform their solo and showcase individual skill. Parents teach a skill related with gardening or cooking. Those are traditional skills. And children teach a skill related with the technology. This knowledge exchange builds confidence and creates positive memories. Fourth, family practice as a team, improving communication and coordination with cooperative game and projects that foster conflict resolution and decision making. Finally, the music is ready. The family present their teamwork in a community event, a talent fair to celebrate their growth. This inspires others and also strengthens community bonds. Imagine a network of family acting as a social change in their community. At Enlace, we enable families to compose new melodies and face challenges together as a unit. And children can grow up in a safe, supporting environment free of violence. Let me share with you one of these new melodies.
Tu mirada me alejó a todos lados.
Ahora soy un camba enamorado.
El cielo empezó a arder y en mi alma empezó a crecer.
Atopeando un gran querer.
Y en tus labios quiero dejar, pero de tanto besar, que se vuelven en palmar.
Thank you so much.
Can we start with online, please? David? Hello, hello.
Hi, Gabriela.
Can you hear us?
Yes, Gabriela, your project sounds very interesting. But can you share with me the first two important actions you will take when you return home, which are related to your project?
Thank you. The first steps are related with established connection with local organization. My idea is to work in a slum when communities where really needs service like this. So these are one of my first steps. Establish connection.
Another question? Hello? Can we go offline by the time? Anyone offline, please?
Thank you, Gabriela. It is heartening to know your experience. It's wonderful. Okay. See, the concept of thinking room, recreation room, green space, it's wonderful. See, violence begets violence. When they experience violence, when they grow up, they practice violence.
Exactly.
See, the concept of children teaching parents. So as a teacher, I actually appreciate that the students should start teaching their teachers. These are wonderful concepts. But I need a clarification. I want you to elaborate on the positive parenting strategies a bit. I want to know more about it.
Yes.
This is the key area of your experiments.
Okay. Basically, I'm talking about parenting skills. So usually parents think that the only obligation with children is to provide food or building. But there are some needs important also for the children, for example, protection, love, security. So in that way, we will use this approach about parenting skill to show the parent that also is important another not tangible things like food, but it's also very important to adequately develop for the children and to make sure a good future, because finally every parent wants that their children have a better future than themselves. No?
Thank you. We have an online question, Tamar?
Yes, thank you. Gabriel, that's a wonderful presentation. But also I want to find out, you agree with me that a child is shaped mostly by their parent, and the family contributes more percentage in bringing a child. And so I want to know what strategies you have in place to engage parents effectively, the word is effectively, in your initiative, especially those who may be disinterested in your project and overburdened or even perpetrated in certain acts of violence at home. How would you go about that if this plan of yours does not work? What's the plan B?
Okay, yes, it's true. Anybody wants to be called violent people or person, no? Yes, our first connection will be with local organizations like church, school, or health center in a community, within a community. So we pretend to offer our service, our program, to participants or beneficiaries from this organization. So the idea is to join force with this local organization, and everybody, each one can work in the same way. That is the welfare for the children. And what happens is doesn't work. So I think, according to my experience, when you offer something new that you didn't know yet, and if you taste and you see that works, it's possible as change. So I believe that it could be the future of this dream.
Yes, thank you, Gabriela. I have a similar question because so from your presentation, these children are basically facing double abuse, some of them, or at least maybe a lot of them, from parents and teachers. And so a mistrust of adults are built in from maybe a young age. How you intend to communicate and to put in action to a child who has clearly been abused, maybe emotionally, maybe physically, and maybe it's from the parents, but they say, I have no problem. There's no problem. Yeah. Everything is okay in my family. Everything is going fine at school. What do you tell them, and what's your action plan for that?
Yes, in the same way, we don't have judgment, exactly. We don't have this approach, judgment for the parent. So the idea is to present this alternative to have new skill, new instrument in your family to be a better environment in your family. As I told you in my speech, families have to face many challenges. So one challenge plus by another is a big problem. So I want to present this program as a way to reduce this problem. And one of the tool is, for example, restorative practice, nonviolent communication, or positive active listening. So there are small techniques that can show change in a little bit time.
Gabriela, congratulations that you have made use of art as a transformative tool for transforming conflicts.
Yeah.
We organize Peace Studies program where we have art and peace is a module. So we have been using painting as part of this one. Hereafter, music also will be incorporated. That's one part of it.
Yes.
Well, from your presentation, I feel that violence is almost accepted as a cultural norm. It's a culturally embedded in your context. How to transform that cultures? Are you hopeful that your attempt focusing on Family Empowerment Center will eventually help you to transform the cultures? And finally, what's the role of counseling? Because most of the inmates are victims of violence, traumatic experience they have. Do you have provisions for counseling so that they experience inner peace that will lead to outer peace?
Yes. Mainly our focus is work with the whole family, parents and children. So with different activities, but the main objective is to work together. However, the counseling is also considered in this project. This is an individual intervention also is considered. Sorry, I lost the first question. Oh, okay. Yes, it's a long-term. Yes, exactly. Yes, but also I know that there is a sentence in Spanish, la gota de agua orada la piedra. That means every drop of water molds the rock. So I think that step by step we can make change.
Thank you, Gabriela. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the next film is about, or from the person who loves to talk about taboos, but does not only love to talk, actually breaking the taboos. From 2022, let's have a look at the film Propolis from Charlotte.
Close your eyes for a second and imagine a world where people can share their struggles, their questions, their vulnerability without any shame or fear. How does that sound to you? Now open your eyes. Why just imagine this world? My name is Charlotte Cotton, and I am the co-founder of Propolis, a social organization to address taboos. In a world where social medias are supposed to connect us and help us to speak to each other, we still don't know how to address sensitive topics. We're not equipped to talk about all those difficult topics. Before being a social change maker, I worked for 10 years in communication agencies. I guess since I was a child, I was always interested in learning how could communication bring us together. After working in different agencies, I decided I wanted to reach something more personal and decided to launch Propolis thanks to a social leadership program called Kanthari located in South India. I spent the whole year of 2022 working on how propolis could be shaped and how the idea of opening communication could actually look like. In 2023, I piloted my now program called Les Jeux de mots in South India. I traveled throughout 19 different organizations in 3 states of South India, talking to 1,000 beneficiaries. I wanted to speak to a lot of different people. Children from difficult background, adults with special needs, transgenders, women who faced very difficult situations. And guess what I discovered? Everyone wants and needs to talk. Coming back to France, my home country, I was reached by a very special lady, a doctor, who wanted me to train her staff to learn the tools of propolis. So the program we developed in the hospitals is called Les Jeux de mots, and we use different tools. The main tool is storytelling. And what is storytelling? Is the creation of stories collectively that is helping us to do 3 hours activity with medical staff and patients to identify how we can talk about taboos related to health, physical health and mental health. We also use drawing, movement, theater, and other creative tools to open discussion in a very creative way. We have 3 main objectives here. We want to help medical staff to improve their communication on health-related taboos. We want to reduce the stress of the staff with creative expression, and we also want to develop more empathy between medical staff and patients. With the pilot in India and the Train the Trainer in France, we've spoke to more than 1,000 beneficiaries so far throughout workshop, training, and medical congresses that we're doing all around France at the moment. Next, we want to dream big. We want to reach out as many professional and medical staff as possible so they can learn exactly what are our tools and can develop them with patients. So together we can create a world when there's no more taboo.
Oh.
What an inspiring project.
Yeah, exactly. We can see that.
Amazing. So, Anand, do you know that Kanthari has 5 acts, right?
Yes, I know.
Yeah. And in the 3rd act, do you remember that we learn about philosophy, organizational values, and the most important, branding?
Oh, yeah, exactly. I know. And I cannot even forget because I was the model and I came on a dress.
I'm sorry, but you improved a lot. What do you think?
I know I have improved, and to improve this, I got help.
Yeah, from who?
From our next speaker, and who's really changing a community or his country through his art. So let's welcome
Mr.
Blaise Nagwana from
Cameroon.
Hey! Hey! Get on the ground! Now! Hey! I said get on the ground!
What just happened? Why was the young man not answering to the calls? The military thought he was a terrorist, and so they shot him, only to find out later on that he was deaf. That could have been me. That could have happened to me, because I am hard of hearing and come from Cameroon, a nation with 10 regions that have been in conflict since 2016, with this conflict focused on its 2 English-speaking regions. It began with a peaceful protest by the Anglophone lawyers and teachers asking for reforms in the legal and educational systems. This protest grew into violent revolt, with some groups asking for an independent English Cameroon. The situation worsened, with some armed groups known as the Amber Boys fighting the Cameroon military. For 8 years, these regions have been in constant violence and chaos. Beyond killings, we have widespread rape, kidnappings, theft, abduction that have destroyed lives. Homes are burned, families turned apart, and villages in ruins. Personally, I've had my fair share of this torment. It was an ordinary day as I walked home after a tiring day seeking university admissions. Suddenly, I noticed a young man in the distance. He looked unkempt and busy, but I couldn't tell what he was doing. So in curiosity, I walked closer, only to find out too late I had walked myself into my own abduction. He pointed a gun at me, seized my bag, and dragged me into a dark room. Inside, I recognized familiar faces. They had bruises all over their bodies, with their sorrowful faces telling me they had been crying for a very long time. Some laid down unconscious. I can only imagine how many had died after going through such torment. Just like them, I was beaten. I was tortured. After what felt like my world had finally come to an end, I managed to escape the chaos, leaving behind a place that had once been home, into uncertainty, where 1 meal per day was luxury. The floor became my bed, and despair was my blanket. Under such conditions, I could not survive, talk less of grow. So I made the hard decision to return to our war-stricken region. One peculiar aspect about the war in our region is the phenomenon of ghost towns. It is very similar to COVID-19 we all experienced, where businesses and offices were locked down and everyone expected to stay indoors. Well, in our case, ghost towns are a peaceful form of protest that can last for months. It was during such a period that I discovered my passion in fashion design. So I learned in a workshop that operated behind closed doors during such periods. Ghost towns gave me enormous time to practice. And while others were being distracted by the sound of gunfire during ghost towns, I stayed focused. Guess why? Because I am hard of hearing. Despite these benefits, there are several setbacks for being deaf in a war region. I can vividly remember it was harvest season when I noticed the plum tree beside our house was heavy with ripe fruits. Unable to resist, I climbed up to pluck them. And when I looked down from the branches, I noticed the streets were deserted and silent. But the temptation of the fresh-looking fruits kept me busy and distracted. So I went on humming a tune and plucking the plums. When I climbed down the tree and tried to enter the compound, I noticed it was locked. That was so unusual. I knocked. No one responded. I persisted. And a neighbor cautiously opened the gate. Her face was pale. Her voice was shaking. And she pulled me inside and asked, "What were you doing outside? Can't you hear the sound of gunshot?" Well, it turns out while I was up there having the best moment of my life, there was a gun battle happening nearby, and there I was, unaware, plucking plums like I was in the safest place on earth. It was only after coming to Kanthari that I realized the deaf and hard of hearing are vulnerable in war zones. I equally realized one thing. Deafness is not always a disability. It is with this that I want to establish an organization, Mandrill Alert. The name is inspired. Thank you. The name is inspired by the mandrill, an ape which is common to the African rainforest. It alerts members of its colony through screaming, vibrating, and use of signals to communicate. And just like the mandrill, we want to alert deaf people in war regions of danger while equipping them with entrepreneurial and life-saving skills. The main goal of our 3 interventions is to ensure the safety of deaf persons in war regions at all times. Our first intervention is the wristband alert system. This is a device designed to alert deaf people of danger in war region. At the Empower Conference held at the National Institute of Speech and Hearing here in Trivandrum on the 17th of October, we collaborated with several assistive technology experts to develop the core principles of this device. And keeping in mind the needs of deaf people in my country, we finalized a device that does not require internet connectivity to transmit information. This device would alert its users through vibration and colors. The colors are inspired by the colorful facial features on the face of a mandrill. The red color would signal danger. In moments of gunshot, bombing, explosion, the red color would pop up to alert the deaf user of danger and direct them into safety. The next color, sky blue, would alert the user by popping up to show insecurity. In moments of ghost town, where it is not safe to walk along the streets, the sky blue color would pop up to tell the deaf user to stay indoors. The white color would pop up to signal serenity, peace, and security. My very heartfelt desire is that the white color pops up forever. But then, we must be prepared for the worst. While the design and functionality of this device has been outlined, the development is still ongoing. Our next intervention is training in sign language. And I'll be the first student because I don't know sign language myself. So through empowering the deaf community and their family members and loved ones with communication skills in sign language, we want to facilitate the process of critical coordination during dangerous moments in war zones. And we have training in fashion designing. Fashion designing is a visual art. It does not require auditory means to transmit information. So through fashion designing, we want to empower the deaf community with a skill that keeps them productive and safe in a region like ours. The deaf may be silent, yet their creativity speaks volumes. As a hard of hearing designer, I am privileged to have trained several individuals in fashion designing. Guess what? And now, I am proud to work with silent, yet powerful contributors whose talent and resilience shape our society. To show you a glimpse of our activities, we want to present to you the Mandrill Alert Fashion Show! And with a round of applause, let us welcome on stage, all the way from Uganda, Timothy! Majestically walking. And to join him on stage, we are going to welcome Karen all the way from Kenya. To grace our stage, we are going to welcome our MCs of the occasion, Charlotte from France and Anand from India. With a round of applause, please. Thank you, thank you.
We can now go for... Now we can start with question answers. Yeah.
No questions.
Please find some questions for Blaise. Thank you. They're speechless.
This is a Blaise. Okay. Hey, congratulations, Blaise. Felt like dancing with you. Come on. I'm fascinated by your project, Mantle Alert, especially the use of technology. Some used art, some used painting or music, and you are here with technological use for building peace, and I really appreciate it. How do you envisage its possibility, especially in the world of advanced technology like artificial intelligence? You know, do you see how bigger or nobler is the possibility of cultivating or using latest technology as way of helping the hearing impaired? At least do you envisage?
There is artificial intelligence work of internet. So we want to develop a device which does not require internet connectivity. So our use of artificial intelligence is not limited though, but then we bear that in mind.
I just have a question about it's amazing project. I think it's very well thought out. Congratulations. The only question, well, it's more like a concern. It's just about the budgeting and the sustainability, because I can imagine this device would probably need constant R&D with research and development continuously. Like as you need to test it, you need to improve it. It's just whether the other activities or the whole project in general can be sustained through a long, well, hopefully not through a long time, because there will be less wars. But if in case it does go on for a long time, whether that can be supported financially as ongoing, because this product would need to be improved over time, and imagine.
Yeah. We've begun the process of developing this device already, and we are looking forward to developing it completely, getting a prototype, testing it. If there are limitations, we improve upon it. So we're actually open for learning too.
Important questions. So I'd like to ask you a very general question, because it's a wonderful project. No
Thank
words.
You. Thank you.
It's a wonderful project, no words. This, of course, the strategies for training, for upskilling, everything for what about the community awareness program to be more inclusive for the society at large, for the inclusiveness of the differently abled people like deaf young people?
Okay.
What about the community at large? Do you have any ideas for that, for better community awareness program? The larger community should accommodate you people, for more for better inclusiveness.
Inclusiveness in what aspect?
And that's inclusive. The larger community should, accept
so
the differently able people. I'm talking about the inclusiveness. Yeah. Do you have any program for that?
Yeah,
community
inclusiveness comes in the aspect where we want to equally train deaf people's family, their loved ones, friends who are hearing people in sign language, so that these deaf people don't just communicate among themselves, but then they are able to interact with the society. Then other interventions like the wristband alert system will not just be made available to deaf people, but hearing people too, who want to be double assured. In war, there is a lot of uncertainty, insecurity. People want double assurance of their safety. So we could equally make this device available for the hearing community. We are open to the world.
We have some online questions.
Yes, Blaise.
Yes.
Wonderful performance, wonderful. I really enjoyed it, what you did, wonderful. But I have a few concerns. You see, in developing assistive,
We're losing you.
then the dignity and autonomy of your users. How do you intend to address these challenges?
Could you ask the question one more time? Or type the question? There's a bit of connection problems.
Okay, can I come again?
Yes, please. Hello. Can we have another question in the meantime?
Sure.
Thank you.
Can I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Okay. So Blaise, thank you so much for your presentation. I really enjoyed it.
You're welcome.
The question I have, I'm also concerned about the sustainability of your project. The wristband is a wonderful one. I believe in the power of technology. I believe in that, yes, it will work. The colors is a great idea to indicate danger and serenity. Vibration is also a great idea. But I want to know, in terms of sustainability, one thing that is really a challenge here in Africa is maintenance, especially when it comes to technology or any device. What training do you have in place in the near future for people who have this wristband to maintain their product, especially with issues of climate change? You don't want to have a faulty gadget, then because it's faulty, you do away with it and you have to buy a new one. This would hinder sustainability. I want to know what you have in place. Also, I like the way you chipped in where you said hearing people would be trained. I want to find out, since we don't want people with hearing disability to feel marginalized, what initiative do you have in place that they'll feel very included in the society, where hearing people would have the understanding that, okay, these are the challenges faced by people who have hearing disabilities. Thank you very much.
Okay, to begin with the first question, to ensure the sustainability of this device, we would not just welcome an expert from outside to do everything from start to finish and come frequently for maintenance. We would learn it ourselves. We believe learning is a continual process and it can be learned. While at the while at Niche, developing this device, I got to know more things and how to even improve upon the device personally. So I think my beneficiaries will be trained on how to repair this device. Sustainability or weather conditions in case of rain. One principle of this device is it will be waterproof. Under rain, under sun, it functions very well. Then avoiding marginalization among the community from hearing people. We believe it's something that comes from within. We want to build the self-esteem of the deaf people. Let them not feel marginalized in any way. We are advocating for a mindset shift from the hearing people, that they should not see them as less of a person, but they are just as empowered or able as a hearing person. We would advocate for an inner build of the deaf people. Thank you.
Thank you, Blaise.
Thank you, Blaise.
Thank you.
It's coming.
You
Hold
want
on.
the song?
It's coming. Okay, so this is the end. This is the end of Kanthari Talks 2024. Thank you very much, everyone. Congratulations. We want to start by thanking the audience here. Congratulations for such a good energy, and anyone online watching, thank you.
Thank you to our panelists from online and offline who joined us and
Big round of
gave
applause,
critical
please.
questions to us. Thank you.
A big thanks to our timer.
For
Thank
timing
you
and
very
making
much.
sure it is going on time.
Being super on time.
To our technical team, thank you so much. Because
Well
of
done,
you, it was
everyone.
possible, everything.
This cannot happen without you. A big thank for the kitchen, for not serving plain food, and for filling our tummy with delicious food. A big round of applause to them.
Thank you so much for the whole Kanthari team for making this possible. Thank you so much.
Thank
including
you very
and me.
much. Thank you to us. Okay, thank you to us. And a big, big, big last thank you to Paul and Sabria and the Kanthari Swiss Foundation. Without us, we can't be here. Thank you very much. Lunch is going to be served. Enjoy the most beautiful song of the day. And let's have a good lunch.
Music!
Thank you.
Now we can dance, everybody. Everybody can join us on the stage.
Whoop!
Camera room, blackout streets strip bare. Ghost town, whispers hanging in the air. No lights, no moon, no sound of life, but we're electric. Watch how we survive. City locked down, but our minds break free. Young blood boiling beneath the energy. Silent streets can't stop our flow. Underground creators, watch how we grow. We design loud when the world goes quiet. Our passions are riots, can't deny it. Zero distractions, we're locked in our zone, turning empty spaces into our throne. Invisible barriers, we shatter that frame, transform the silence, ignite our own flame. From darkness we rise, sharp as the night, jungle instincts burning fierce and bright. No compromise, no time to chill, pure concentration, that's our skill. We design loud when the world goes quiet. Our passions are riots, can't deny it. Stay focused, stay hungry, claim your space. Creativity blazing at breakneck pace. From empty streets, watch innovation spark. We light up the silence.